tiny video player looks like a miniature TV from the 1960s, and it offers a nostalgic, almost whimsically pointless experience that feels both delightful and oddly satisfying. Introducing the TinyTV 2. This device comes with its own TinyTV static and a remote control for added fun. When the TinyTV 2 powers down, it leaves a faint glow, evoking the charm of old television sets. Photo credit, Sharon Harding. Imagine a family of cartoon mice gathering around a small television. I picture they'd be drawn to something akin to Tiny Circuits TinyTV 2, https://tinycircuits.com/products TinyTV 2. The gadget rests on 4 sleek angled legs with dials and a classic brown shell inviting viewers into its cozy, nostalgic storytelling. Its screen measures just over an inch diagonally, specifically 1.14 inches, but it radiates a vintage vibe that's hard to ignore. In simple terms, the TinyTV is a compact, rechargeable device capable of playing videos stored on it, all designed with a retro TV look and feel. The tiny device features small rotary dials. One manages volume and the other scrolls through saved videos. Each turn of the knobs results in a satisfying click, adding tactile charm. Speculating about fun, imaginative uses for the TinyTV feels appropriate because the device seems built primarily for enjoyment. Today's TV landscape is dominated by ultra-powerful, software-heavy, AI-fueled screens that are also getting larger and more complicated. In this context, the TinyTV stands out as a charming homage to a simpler era, offering a sense of comfort and nostalgia. Retro in design. The TinyTV's remote and back panel are tiny when placed next to common objects like a lighter, showcasing just how small and delicate the device truly is. Photo credit, Sharon Harding. Tiny Circuits, based in Ohio, specializes in creating miniature, open-source electronic gadgets aimed at fostering creativity within the maker community, encouraging STEM learning, and sparking joy. Their journey began with the TinyDuino platform, an Arduino-based system funded through Kickstarter back in 2012, which laid the groundwork for other compact projects. The TinyTV 2 evolved from an earlier DIY kit priced at around $75, released 3 years prior. This newer model was funded via Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns in 2022, alongside an even smaller 0.6-inch version called TinyTV Mini. Today, Tiny Circuits sells the TinyTV along with other tiny electronics, including Thumby, a tiny programmable game console that resembles a miniature Game Boy, for approximately $60. According to Ken Burns, founder of Tiny Circuits, the idea originated from a customer in Japan. This customer was inspired by Tiny Circuits' stackable Lego-like boards that allow quick assembly of various electronics projects. They combined these components with a small screen to create a charming miniature TV, which remarkably captured the imagination of the community. Even when turned off, the TinyTV exudes vintage allure, reminiscent of some of the first TV models ever made. My nostalgic moment struck when I pressed the power button at the top of the TinyTV. The device powers on or off with a flicker of static and a famous television noise that I hadn't heard in ages, bringing back memories of simpler times. A TV without a tuner? It's important to remember that the TinyTV isn't a real television. It lacks a tuner and can't connect directly to the internet or stream content wirelessly. While I was able to stream videos through a USB-C connection from my computer, audio playback wasn't supported at all. Unlike modern TVs controlled by sleek remote controls or voice commands, the manual knobs on the TinyTV offer a quaint, tactile experience, making channel or video selection feel nostalgic, like flipping through channels manually. It even mimics the behavior of an actual live TV, where the timestamp on a video pauses and resumes seamlessly when you revisit the channel, creating an illusion that the content has been playing continuously. When powering down, the TinyTV briefly displays static, which gradually fades to black, a visual effect that enhances its vintage feel. It includes an infrared remote, a simple black device made with 3D printed parts. It features buttons for power, volume, and switching videos. However, I found the remote signal unreliable even from close distances, which was disappointing because the knobs require 2 hands to operate comfortably without knocking over the device. Adding videos is straightforward thanks to a free tool provided by Tiny Circuits, which converts MKey-4 files into the required AVI format. Once converted, files are transferred by connecting the TinyTV to a computer via USB-C, where it shows up as a USB drive. Display quality surpasses expectations for a device of this size. It features an IPS screen with 16-bit color depth and a 30 Hz refresh rate, which keeps images reasonably sharp. While an authentic CRT display would enhance the vintage look, such screens are quite bulky and rare at this tiny scale. The smallest CRT TV ever was Panasonic's TravelVision CT101, introduced in 1984 with a 1.5-inch screen, now a rare collector's piece. Finding a way to view the TinyTV at eye level was a challenge, but even when positioned below sightline, bright scenes remained clear. Darker images, however, showed less detail, as the small screen struggled with contrast. I tested the device with a trailer from Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and at 223 pixels per inch, the TinyTV displayed fine details like small text, the wingtip of a tiny airplane, or the space between Tom Cruise and the floor in a famous vault scene. White text on a black background, included in the preloaded content, was mostly legible despite some blooming effects. Yet, all videos I uploaded appeared grainier, with less clarity, making fine details harder to discern. The tiny front-facing speaker, measuring only 0.6 by 4 inches, isn't loud enough to be useful if any background noise exists. Dialogue, especially quiet-spoken lines, was hard to hear even in a quiet room. A simpler shade of television. The evolution of television from its earliest days highlights a significant leap. Bigger, brighter, faster, more colorful, and packed with features driven by complex software and internet connectivity. We've moved away from manual dials and into sleek, wall-mounted screens that often come with endless streaming options and targeted advertising. Yet, when I think about the TinyTV, I imagine a humble mouse family gathered around a tiny TV, or even someone setting it up as a quirky display at a trade show to attract visitors. Tiny Circuits promotes it as a dollhouse accessory, something playful that could also serve as an eye-catching conversation starter. Ken Burns mentioned people use this for a variety of purposes, like desk toys at the office, loading videos for the holiday greetings sent to family members, or simply for fun. Personally, I've been using mine to show short clips. With an 8GB microSD card, the TinyTV can hold around 10 hours of video, and Burns noted that storage can theoretically be swapped out, though it involves taking the device apart. As modern TVs become more like advertising platforms, constantly collecting user data, and new display technologies push us to learn fresh acronyms, the TinyTV's playful, almost pointless charm offers a refreshing reminder. Sometimes, good old-fashioned fun and nostalgia are enough to reconnect us with the spirit of what a TV really is: a simple, inviting screen that encourages people to gather and entertain.